Bottom line is that for both the criminal and the administrative review, there is no excessive use of force. And so your perception is wrong. Well,
Because
Lucas, it really comes down to your future in the police department.
Even those in power must answer to a higher authority, and in these cases, evil cops learn that lesson the hard way. Just like this insane officer who shocked even me with his blatant disregard of policy.
In March 2021, Heber City police officer Lucas McTaggart was responding to a call about a drunk person accompanied by an officer whom he was training. However, McTaggart discovered that multiple officers were on the scene, including the chief of the police department, Dave Booth. Soon, the suspect started resisting, and McTaggart saw Booth's hand grabbing his neck, violating the department's policy. He immediately filed a report to his supervisor, claiming that Chief Booth used excessive force. Soon, this led to an investigation, and instead of holding Booth accountable, McTaggart was the one on the receiving end.
Then Garrity can be given to make it perfectly clear that there is an obligation on the employee's part to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, kind of an idea. And so Garrity provides protections to an employee, like in your spot, having to do with potential criminal investigation. Doesn't say crimes can't be brought if Garrity is given, but instead is saying anything that we were to talk about here cannot be shared with criminal investigators. Well, there's already been a criminal investigation conducted. We know there's no crimes that are going to come of that. And so at least that piece is not on the table, and so we won't do it. If we were concerned about your ability to tell the truth, or we questioned any of those things, then we would also consider giving Garrity. We're not in that boat. So you're not in trouble.
Sheriff Jared Rigby, a close friend of Chief Booth, conducted the interview. From the start of the interrogation, he appeared pretty hostile and used intimidation tactics to scare off McTaggart.
I know lots of times officers get concerned about the consequences of what they say, meaning how that affects them with their coworkers. And I do get that, kind of the informal, kind of between officers, crews, supervisors. Are they going to be upset with me? Any of those kinds of things. So, it's not a criminal investigation. It's not a Garrity interview. The first question really that we have is, we know that you're the FTO to Adrian Gondaria on this call, March 31st, 2021, right?
Mm-hmm.
Liberty Station, Jesse Rodriguez. And then from there end up being concerns in the police department about how it was handled. Specifically, whether there was excessive use of force. And even more specific, whether Dave Booth used any excessive use of force. So, what do you know, or what was your involvement in, after March 31st, and that incident, and then discussion with others?
Rigby was more concerned about whether McTaggart had said anything to the officers involved rather than uncovering the whole truth about the incident. He conveniently ignored the entire event as he questioned McTaggart about it.
It's been a while, so I don't 100% recall timing on everything or anything like that, but I know I discussed with, I think, 3 other officers. And I discussed with a supervisor.
Okay, is the supervisor one of the 3 officers or separate?
Separate.
Okay, can you tell us more about that, the officers and the supervisor?
I believe I talked about it with Rojo, Richard, and I actually want to say Weischer, but that was kind of random because he was just in the office randomly.
And the supervisor?
Jarvie.
Okay, and what were the circumstances there?
My discussion with my supervisor.
Uh-huh.
I was doing what I was obligated to do by policy based on what I had seen.
So, help us understand the circumstances of how that conversation happened.
Officer McTaggart followed departmental policy on reporting any use of excessive force when he spoke to his supervisor. Rigby, on the other hand, continued to stress this issue.
Who was on your crew at that time?
Well, I was FTOing Adrian. So it's just me. It was just me and Jarvie, and then I was training Adrian.
So just the three of you on that crew, on Jarvie's crew?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, at that point, you're the only two on the crew, and he is your crew supervisor.
Yes.
Okay. And this happened in Sergeant Jarvie's office. Is it day crew, or sorry, is it day shift or night shift?
I don't remember. I could look back. Adrian may have been out doing paperwork in the office while the door was closed.
Okay.
I don't.
Door was closed.
If he was in the office, the door would have been closed. It wasn't a conversation I would have had for other people to hear.
Did you consider it a formal conversation?
Yes.
So what were the concerns that you raised?
That I observed an officer use excessive force. Or what I perceived to be excessive force from where I saw it happen.
You're concerned about Dave Booth using excessive force,
Correct.
and you communicated that to Sergeant Jarvie.
I did.
During the incident, McTaggart was alongside Officer Adrian, whom he was training. Finally, Rigby asked him about what had happened earlier, and he told the truth.
At what point do you think that Dave Booth used excessive force?
When he put his hand on Jesse's neck and squeezed his neck to put him into the back of, I believe it was Adrian's car, but that patrol car.
So, to say it accurately, when in recovered, you knew that the recording was going. Okay. When he put his hand on Jesse's neck and squeezed, is that accurate?
Yes.
And put him inside the car.
McTaggart was fearless throughout the interview and never had a change of thoughts. He explained how he was troubled by the incident, as he now had to tell a junior officer he was training that the chief broke the law and went against policy.
Were there any other concerns that you had about excessive use of force?
Nope.
Anything else, any other concerns that you raised at the time with Sergeant Jarvie having to do with the incident?
Only how to deal with that. Excuse me, how to have that conversation with somebody that I was training to be a new officer who I thought witnessed it, because it was just the three of us there. Everybody else was kind of milling around scene. As you know, there's a lot of people on scene at that point, just the way the previous use of force with Jesse had gone down and the emergency button and everything. But to my recollection and my perception was at that moment, it was Jesse, Chief, Adrian, and me, and kind of our own little world. And so that was, I mean, honestly, that was the most upsetting thing to me about it at the time, was that I was gonna have to reconcile that with somebody who I was trying to teach how to be a cop. I just didn't know how to approach it with him. Do I, obviously a difficult situation where it's chief. If it was another line level officer, yeah, like, hey, this is cut and dry. What you saw happen there was wrong and not the way we do things, and that'll be dealt with, but you don't need to worry about that, but we need to have that conversation. And it's just a little bit more of a difficult conversation
So
with somebody who's, I mean, it was a difficult situation for me to be in, and I'm experienced and I have no issue being on a scene with chief and, and all that stuff. And then imagine that from a brand new guy still in training who turns out was having a very hard time in training.
yeah.
McTaggart oozed confidence and never appeared nervous in front of the sheriff. However, that's when Rigby started to intimidate him, claiming that what he saw was wrong and that excessive force was never used.
What I mean by that is you're seeing excessive use of force. That's not your decision. That is a determination that the department will make.
Sure.
And so I like and I appreciate and I respect you going through the process. Hey, I have a concern, you raise it to your sergeant. That's the right thing to do. And maybe I'm misunderstanding what you're saying here, but the way that it's coming across to me, at least at this point, is that you're feeling like you have to explain to the new employee that the chief just used excessive use of force and now we got to work through that. Am I misunderstanding that?
You're not. The way that I perceived that, it was pretty cut and dry from what I perceived. I was right there with it, and I didn't see anything, especially with, we've just been told chokeholds are against policy and all, George Floyd and everything else and people going to prison and all of this stuff. And then we see that happen, and that was very clear to me that that was inappropriate.
The officer was well aware of the department's policies and the law surrounding the appropriate use of force. It's great to see such officers existing in the police department, but seeing Rigby gaslighting them into breaking them is truly shameful.
I think applying pressure to the neck. I mean, they're saying George Floyd, they're relating that to a chokehold, and he had a knee on the back of his neck, and you can't stop breathing from the back of the neck. I mean, what?
Is that what your policy talks about with chokehold? Is anything that applies pressure to the neck?
I don't know, honestly. I don't know off the top of my head right now. But
So,
and to back up, that wasn't anything on the back of the neck. I mean, I watched his hands squeeze around the front of his neck.
how long do you think that lasted?
I have thought about that because my other concern when I researched what my obligation was is, coming across the duty to intervene. And so I had a second to myself to, should I have stepped in and grabbed Chief's arm and said, hey, quit? I think by time everything processed what was happening, it was done. So I think, and I never saw the video, so I never saw it besides in that moment. But
So this is just your recollection from your eyewitness account. You've never reviewed or watched a video since that?
not of that part, no.
After listening to his entire story, the sheriff and the other detective questioned McTaggart on why he was the only one to challenge the excessive force, while Adrian remained quiet. Once again, McTaggart confidently responded, silencing.
There was nothing brought up by Adrian as far as any concerns.
No, but he wasn't really one to bring stuff up. He was kind of just doing this for the whole time.
Okay.
Through FTO, I mean.
No, I get you.
Or his part of FTO.
Okay.
All right,
So, and maybe I'm not, I don't know, maybe I'm not communicating it well. I take pride in training new officers in that position and the importance of that position. And so I guess that was me having Adrian there was just something else onto that issue. That issue would have been that issue with just me there. And I saw what I saw independent of Adrian. And then on top of all of that, on what I was, figuring out what I needed to do, what our policy said, what the law said, I had the thought, Adrian was there too and was in a position where he could have saw exactly what I saw. So how, do I need to have that conversation with him, and how specifically do I need to have that conversation with him?
so when did you have the conversation with Adrian?
Either that day that I talked to Jarvie or within the next shift or two, quickly after.
Rigby claimed that McTaggart was wrong to have a conversation with Adrian, as he should have followed an alternative route.
There's a process for figuring that out.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't sit with an officer, and it doesn't sit with a sergeant, and it goes up like it did.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately it goes to the chief's supervisor.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a criminal investigation on it, and then the decision on that, and then there's an IA that's done on it, and then there's a decision on that. And what has been done, or at least it somewhat looks like it's been done, is, well, Adrian's already been told that that was not the way to be doing it. Although it wasn't specific, it was just generalized that that wasn't the way to be doing things.
The sheriff was again in the wrong, as McTaggart had every right to inform the officer he was training about any actions violating the law. Otherwise, what's the point of hands-on training if it doesn't teach integrity and adherence to the law?
I understand what you're saying. I guess questions on where that's coming from, because I feel like you're obviously already prepared with that information you just gave me, right?
What's that?
That whole speech just barely that you just gave me about how I handled it and that my department thinks it's wrong. I mean, I'm assuming that sounds like it was something that came from you before the conversation that we just had.
No, that is me hearing this for the first time
Okay.
and applying what I know,
Okay.
and then me going back to them and saying, this is the statement I made on your behalf.
Okay.
That's what it is. And then they'll honor it,
Sure.
because that's what we're doing here.
And then maybe it needs to be more clear that I in no way threw Chief under the bus to Adrian. I mean, that was why I made it a point to do that, is that was me trying to have a conversation on, I guess, appropriate use of force or whatever that may be, without throwing Chief under the bus, knowing,
Okay.
having seen what I'd seen.
Okay.
McTaggart was again on point, as he was just doing his duty as a field training officer. However, Rigby kept intimidating him, making it increasingly apparent that they only punished McTaggart for speaking up against the wrongdoing he had witnessed.
Sergeant Jarvie in his office shared your concern, because this is what. Then, what was your understanding of what was going to happen from there?
There was no expectation of anything else to happen.
Okay. So
My-
he didn't
my
say,
understanding
well,
of
I'll
my-
go and do this or that or anything like that.
He definitely gave no statement of this is going to happen next.
Was there any statement as far as like, this has got to be fill in the blank? I don't know what it would be, but was there an expectation on your part?
No.
It's like,
No,
that it be handled a certain way, or
No, I made it clear from the beginning that I was doing what I felt like I was obligated to do, and that was where that's why I was having that conversation, because policy said that, and so I was fulfilling policy. Policy said report it to a supervisor, so and I made that clear. This is me reporting it to you. I'm done with it.
so.
The officer clarified that he had no sinister reason to report the incident, but had only followed the department's policy. However, it appears that the Heber City Police Department does not tolerate good police officers. Moments later, Rigby actually started to defend the chief's action.
I don't have anything against you. I don't. But there's this one part in the interview with DPS that confuses me. So you end up saying they ask you a few times about your concerns and whether you felt like there was excessive use of force. And you said that you were concerned, but based on your perspective of where you were, because you were back and not up right front, you didn't see anything that led up to that choking, however it's characterized. And so it might have been justified. You just didn't see that. You just saw Dave Booth's hand on Rodriguez's neck.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if
I remember that. I remember saying that, yeah.
Despite being pressured for an hour, McTaggart remained adamant in his belief, refusing to change his statement.
I observed excessive force. I was also recognizing that excessive force is not determined by my perspective. That's what it was. It's as simple as that. I was, especially where that was a criminal investigation. So I'm not going to sit there, obviously I'm going to be honest, and this is what I saw, and I explained what I saw. And so I made that statement to acknowledge that knowing what I saw is this perspective. And so maybe I'll clarify to you then. I do not believe that there was anything that warranted that. But I also acknowledge that it is a possibility that something could have happened that I didn't see. That's a possibility.
Once again, Rigby changed his entire narrative and started claiming that the suspect had done something that forced the officer to go hands-on with him. However, he is once again in the wrong, as there's no departmental policy that allows an officer to use force against someone's neck in any condition whatsoever.
So
Taking his hand and putting it on Reed's
I
throat
didn't directly observe anything that warranted it. So I can definitely say that because that's my observations, right? And from where I was, which was close, it was, behind Adrian, but still close. I don't really, there's no way that it didn't seem likely to me that something would have warranted it. I'm just acknowledging that I'm not, all seeing and all knowing.
Okay. For both the criminal and the administrative review, there is no excessive use of force. So your perception is wrong. And so you'll just have to figure out how best to go about that from here on out. I could go into more detail about why that is. I don't want to kind of belabor the point when the main thing is knowing that that's just not. You and anyone else that thinks that that's how it is, that might have been your perspective at the time, but it's been found to be false. So there was no excessive use of force.
Within a moment, Rigby changed the narrative of the entire investigation, claiming that there was no use of excessive force. He even showed resentment toward the officer for speaking against his chief.
And each one, you're supposed to follow a certain way of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you're coming to your sergeant and doing a formal complaint, there's certain things that are supposed to happen. So it says in policy that you're supposed to come immediately. And so I don't know that you coming within a few days is immediate, but I think it's pretty close. I don't have a problem with that.
And I was going to say, is enough time for me to read the policy and figure out what I'm supposed to do and then do it
I think
considered immediately?
Yes.
I mean, I felt like I was
doing the best you can.
Yeah.
It's got to be written. So you've got to do a written statement on what your concern is.
So I guess let me ask this. That's obviously in a separate policy
From what?
for the process to file a complaint, right? Is that the policy that you're...
Separate from use of force in two different places, you mean?
Well, because the policy that I came across was policy that I was doing what I was doing, and hopefully you have it, you probably have it, is...
So there's use of force.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was doing right there, is that orange paragraph. That's what I was doing. It says report. So I wasn't filing a formal complaint on chief. That's not what I was doing. I was satisfying that highlighted part right there. And I didn't even read the formal complaint policy because that's not what I was doing.
Rigby once again tried to undermine the officer's actions of reporting the incident, but he had no clue that McTaggart was one fine officer who had done everything according to the policy. The sheriff is demonstrating how difficult it is for an officer to call out a mistake made by a senior officer.
You're not trying to do an investigation that so-and-so just brought you, then pass it on. So you're informing the proper supervisors, you're finding out what they want to have happen.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, then they get the right people involved that they want to have involved.
Yeah.
So just don't want anyone thinking, and again, this is something that you can take to the bank. It's not just what I think or how we run things here in the sheriff's office or something like that. I'm speaking for the police department when I say that when there is a concern that someone raises, or a complaint, you can use them interchangeably, that someone raises, it immediately needs to go to the proper supervisor.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got to be documented. So citizens sometimes don't want to document it.
Suddenly, the entire focus shifted to McTaggart as the sheriff claimed he did not follow the correct procedure. Throughout the interview, there were no discussions about whether Chief Booth did something wrong.
What Dave Booth did is not even use of force. Now, people might disagree with that, but in policy, it's saying here the application of physical technique or tactic. So it's like, okay, so what did Dave do? He took it and put it on Rodriguez's neck and squeezed. I don't know if there's a dispute on what that technique or tactic is. Okay. Technique or tactic. So were we taught to do that somehow in any of our trainings? Grab someone by the throat and do that kind of a thing? So the application of physical technique or tactic, chemical agent, or a weapon to another person. It's not a use of force when a person allows himself or herself to be searched, escorted, or handcuffed. So by the definition, if you're not taught the technique or tactic, it's not a use of force.
Rigby again went out of the line to defend the chief's action, but he had no clue that McTaggart even had the perfect reply.
Well, I mean, the statement you just made, if I punch somebody in the throat, but I've never been taught to do that, then that's not a use of force. Is that?
So in your
and
trainings,
maybe I'm misunderstanding you, because that your statement sounds ridiculous to me.
in your trainings, you've never been taught to punch someone?
Not in the throat, no. Like, are you? I mean, we've been taught to grab people, but we've never been taught to grab people by the throat. So I mean, it's what it.
Yeah, right.
How specific are you going to be on
That's my
it?
point,
But
is that you've never been taught to grab someone by the throat. So you have to take.
we've been taught specifically to not grab people by the throat.
No, I disagree. You've been taught to not do a chokehold.
Okay.
And then when it comes down to what a chokehold is, it comes down to blood flow or airflow.
McTaggart was almost destroying whatever evidence was thrown at him, and that's when Rigby tried threatening him by questioning his future on the police force.
But I thought a lot about it, and I made a very informed decision, and I'm a very experienced officer, and I read case law, and I read lawsuits, and I know what is appropriate use of force, or my perspective of what appropriate use of force is. Obviously, I'm not the one who determines it, and it was determined that it wasn't. And I understand all of that. But what you're saying is not changing my perspective of what I saw. Nothing's going to change that. That's
Sure.
why we're here, right?
Yeah. Well,
Because
Lucas, it really comes down to the future, your future in the police department.
sure,
So you can dig in your heels and say,
and that's not what I'm doing.
this is how I feel and no one's going to change. And okay, that's your decision. You just won't get any trusted positions having to do with DT and use of force and sergeant and
Sure.
those kinds of things because you're not willing to learn and be open-minded to it.
Sure.
So I'm just trying to help you understand that Lexipol and the attorneys that wrote it,
Mm-hmm.
the prosecutors that reviewed the criminal case and fit it within the statute and how it fits into the policy. And then us going through this as well. Everyone's saying what happened there is not a use of force.
Rigby eventually went over to demonstrate what actually happened, as he was now openly supporting his friend Booth.
But when you look at the recordings of what happened and you go frame by frame, you have Jesse James Rodriguez who actually sits down in the vehicle. They're moving him. He's going back and forth at points. He is compliant. He's not. He wants to go a different direction. It's gradient
Mhm.
level of compliance. It's not like you're all 100% compliant or 100% not compliant.
Right.
It's this kind of level of how that works. So point is, Jesse James Rodriguez goes and sits in the vehicle. They get him in the vehicle. Now he decides he wants to come out. So now he's being some level of non-compliant.
Mm-hmm.
So he's coming out, he's leading with his head, and he and Dave Booth are now like this.
Mm-hmm.
And whether he doesn't make statements about kissing him until later, but at this point in time, he's known to be a spitter.
Mm-hmm.
Dave Booth is wondering whether he's going to bite him. Dave Booth takes him and pushes him, and it hits him higher, somewhere in through here,
Okay.
and pushes him back in,
Mm-hmm.
separating space. And then from there, Rodriguez comes out again.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when Dave Booth's hand catches him here, and he's pushing him back in.
Okay.
Now, when I say incidental, this is one frame. You can go frame, frame by frame. Here, his hand isn't there. Here, his hand is there. Here, his hand isn't there. And so you have to figure out the timing of that video. But this is something like 1 to 2 seconds.
McTaggart countered the sheriff again, asserting that the situation was being handled strictly only because the chief had been questioned. If it had been another officer, things would have been handled differently.
Can you appreciate that this situation was changed by who it was? If this had been another officer, that probably, and I don't know because it wasn't, but that probably would have been the conversation immediately. It made things different because of who it was. It made things very serious immediately, in my mind.
And I'm not
And
through.
that's why
I'm not through with the investigation, so I get a question with it because I think you have a valid point.
Sure. From the beginning of all of it, I was trying to do the right thing. That's what I always try to do. I don't think anybody can question my integrity in anything I've done in this job, and I stand by that.
Finally, Rigby realized that he wouldn't be able to get anything out of McTaggart because he had been honest throughout the encounter. Then he asked McTaggart to write a formal complaint and explain everything he had encountered that day.
Doing a statement or a report on the issue. Yeah. Those are the follow-up things that we have.
Okay. Do you need a statement right now, or you want me to do
What's
that
going to
on
be
my own
next
time?
time, do you think?
Well, you've got a half hour before you leave. How long do you think it's going to take you to fill out a statement on this?
Not a half hour.
Not a half hour? Then let's just get it done and over with. Let's do it now. If that's okay with you.
Yeah, and to be clear, you want my written statement to be what my specific concern was that I brought forward to my supervisor.
That's right.
Okay.
Yep, put in the circumstances around there. I mean, but yeah.
Good.
Simple as that.
Okay, I think you did well. Okay?
Okay.
May I shake your hand?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Sorry to take you from training. Sorry for the stress. It's not intentional.
You may seem to think this is the limit of how vile some cops are, but watch till the end, and you'll see how satisfying it is when justice is served.
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good. What's the hurry?
I'm just in my way to work. I have like 11 minutes left.
You have 9 minutes left?
Yeah, I
Okay.
go in at 12.
Okay, and also, you're not staying in your lane.
I'm sorry, boss. I have a low tire. That's all it is.
Come back here and talk to me real quick. Come back here.
The officer who went over 100 miles per hour was later identified as Jordan Hernandez, who had been with the Albuquerque police for 3 years. Soon after pulling him over, the officer could observe signs of impairment from Jordan.
Yeah, so you're doing so stand right here. So did you even see me on the freeway?
I didn't see you. I'm sorry.
Okay. You didn't see me at all?
No, sir.
You didn't see me at all?
No, I didn't.
Okay, well, you're doing a $112, and I turned around. I actually saw you in the median. I turned around, and I've been chasing you probably since the 2:12-ish.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So, you do a favor. You have your weapon on you, right?
What's that?
You have your weapon on you?
Yes, sir.
Let's put it in your car real quick.
Okay.
And your taser. over here. When does shift start?
12, sir.
12? Okay, start here. So, Mr. Hernandez, where are you coming from?
Las Lunas.
Where do you live at in Las Lunas?
What's that?
Where do you live at?
Hunting Ranch.
Officer Jordan was heading over to his late shift, and the other officer could smell alcohol on his breath. That's when he asked him to do the field sobriety test.
Actually, why can't you stay in one lane?
Because I'm trying to log on to all my stuff and everything like that.
Okay. So, when did you start logging into it?
Honest, I can show you. Like, I've been trying to log on and doing all my other stuff. That's the only reason.
Mr. Hernandez, when did you last drink alcohol?
Yesterday.
Okay, I'm gonna check your eyes real quick.
Okay.
Put your toes together. I'm gonna check your eyes. So nothing to drink recently?
No, sir.
Okay, any major head injury?
Just a headache recently, but nothing crazy.
Okay. When did you graduate the academy?
About 3 years ago, sir.
Okay. Was I one of your instructors?
What's that?
Was I one of your instructors?
No, sir.
Okay. See my fingertip?
Yes, sir.
Follow my fingertip with your eyes only. And don't move your head.
Yes.
So, Mr. Hernandez, can you explain why I would smell alcohol from your breath?
I don't know why, sir.
Okay, here we go. Don't move your head. Mr. Hernandez, do you have a license?
On me, yeah.
Can I see it?
The officer could see his eyes bouncing off, which is a clear sign of impairment. Jordan stood in the middle of the road as the cop kept checking his eye.
Okay. Don't look at my knuckle, look at my fingertip, okay? Okay, same thing, I'm going to go up and down. Follow the fingertip. Mr. Hernandez, 2 more quick tests. We'll possibly get you on your way.
The officer was almost certain that Hernandez was over the limit, but he kept doing the required tests, starting with the walk and turn test, which revealed his actual condition.
Directly in front. Hands at your sides.
Can I take off my mask?
You,
I can't see it over my bag.
sure, go ahead.
Okay. Can I put them on your hood?
You can put them in your car.
Okay. Sorry, I can't see over my hood or my mask.
Any questions?
No, sir.
You feel understand what I want you to do?
Yes, sir.
Next up will be step number 1.
1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3,
I'll find.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
And just like that, the officer proceeded with the third test, where Jordan had difficulty lifting his leg.
Any questions?
No, sir.
Do you feel understand?
Yeah, can I?
Sure, you can face whichever way you want. Whenever you're ready, I'll tell you when to stop.
1001, 1002, 1003,
Okay, come over with me.
Apart from these tests, the officer also had some pretty simple tests for Jordan as he was following the protocol.
Yes, sir.
Come backwards from the number 58 to 43 backwards.
Yes, sir.
Don't sing them. Don't sing them.
Don't sing them?
Yeah, just come backwards.
Okay. 58, 57, 56, or sorry, 40 or 58 to where?
43.
43, okay. 58, 57, 56, 55, 54, 53, 52, 51, 50, 49, 48, 47, 46, 44, 45, 44, 43,
You done?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The alphabet.
Yes, sir.
Starting with the letter H as in Henry, stopping at the letter R as in Robert. Recite them forward. Don't sing them.
H star,
H star.
HIJKLMNOPQR.
Despite completing these tests with greater control, the officer had already made his decision as he proceeded to arrest his fellow officer for drunk driving.
Mr. Hernandez, I believe that you're well over the legal limit. Okay. Go and take every. So I will do the favor of that. Would you disagree with me?
I wouldn't agree with you, sir.
No, I said would you disagree with me?
I would disagree with you.
Okay.
Can I put it in my unit?
Sure. Did you do great in the fields? No. Do you know how to do the field sobriety test? Yes. Your speech. I've never heard you speak. The strong odor. Your eye movements. Okay.
Okay, but my eye movement and nothing else. Like,
Okay.
I'm not going to argue.
Oh, I know you're not.
I'm good. Here.
Officer Jordan felt as if he had been hard done by the officer because he had passed the field sobriety test. However, the officer couldn't get over his blurry eye and the smell of alcohol.
You want me to give him a call?
We'll call him in a minute.
You honestly, you don't need to do all that. Like, I can.
Well, you can take everything about, yeah.
What do you want?
Or this thing,
Yeah.
did that come off?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're going to take it out. I mean,
Okay. Do you want me to put it in my unit?
Yeah. Do you have a t-shirt? Do you have a t-shirt?
Yeah.
Let's check out the APD. Okay. Go. Face front of my police car? Yep. Look your hands.
The officer refused to give a breath test and was just taken to the police station.
Do you agree to take our test? I'm asking for a breath test.
No, sir.
Okay, sir, I can't afford you to take our test, but if you refuse, you will lose your next driver's license or non-resident operating privilege for 1 year. If you are convicted in court for driving while under the influence, you may also receive a greater sentence if you have refused to be tested. Furthermore, you'll be charged with aggravated DWI, which you know. With that in mind, do you want to submit to a breath test?
No, sir.
Do you feel? Turn around. This way. Open your mouth. Lift your tongue. Nothing in your mouth. It's now 12:06. Okay. And I'll take the phone from you. And then we'll call your sergeant. I gotta call my lieutenants anyway.
That's fine.
Officer Jordan was eventually charged with driving under the influence. He was placed on administrative leave following an internal investigation. Surprisingly, this wasn't the last time cops were caught drunk on duty. On May 3rd, 2024, Detective Victor Montalvo was driving his SUV when he just crashed it into his colleague's marked car. The detective had had a little too much to drink as he got out of the car and drew his gun from his waistband.
Verifying delay arrival.
Secure that. Gotcha.
And can you confirm is it correct?
Just stand there. I got you. You okay? Okay. I want you to sit up for me. I want you to pull over here and I want you to sit against the wall.
Verify the ETA so I can update it required. Is it still in one lane or is that in 2 streets?
However, multiple officers arrived on the spot as they tried to take Victor away. One of the officers took his gun away, and he was made to sit on the side of the road.
my car.
And you said green?
The detective ultimately confessed to the officers about drinking a little too much. He was eventually arrested and taken to the police station.
Yes, 1246. I got it.
They were doing, I guess, working the road.
Who he hit?
Hit him.
You okay?
And this is
I can't stay here, but we gotta take a 39. Got it?
He was given 2 criminal citations and pleaded not guilty to both. Eventually, he was relieved from duty by the Miami-Dade Police Department. If you think this detective was embarrassing, wait until you see the next one.
I can't go to the jet.
On January 23, 2017, a couple of police officers were on their routine patrol when they observed a driver sleeping inside his car. Soon, the cops went over to inquire about this situation.
He's breathing. I said he's breathing. I don't know. He's breathing. See if the door's unlocked. All right. Police! Open the window. Open the window. Sir, open the window. Open the window.
The cops later discovered the person inside the car was an East Cleveland police detective, Joe March. Instead of complying with the officer's commands, he did something idiotic.
Stop! Stop! I can't reach. Stop now! Hey, open the door. I can't go get the switch yet.
No!
Police department, stop!
Put your hands up!
The cop had no other option but to break his window. However, he kept resisting and made matters tough for himself. It's beyond understanding why a law enforcement officer would behave this way with his fellow cops.
Right now! Put your hands up! Put your hands up! Put your hands up! The door's on. Keep him up now. Pull him out.
Get out of the car. Get out of the car.
Pull him out.
Get out of the car, I'm gonna tase you.
Fortunately, the officer swiftly resolved the troubling situation by handcuffing the detective, who was completely impaired.
Do you have any weapons on you, sir?
Copy 14.
I couldn't get into that window for nothing. I couldn't. It would not breathe.
Gun. Who do you work for?
What's going on with you? Why you give my partner a hard time? Who are you working for? Who you work for? Can you tell me who you work for, man?
Is this your work car?
Bro, you start talking to us. What the hell's going on? Oh. Put me the...
All right, you're under arrest for operating a vehicle under the influence.
After making the arrest, the cops went over to search his vehicle, and they were shocked to discover a loaded automatic gun inside. It's terrifying to imagine what might have gone wrong if the cops didn't act on time.
This guy just started yesterday. Did he? Yeah. What's going on? What's your name, bro? Thanks. My name's Truso. Brad. What's your name? So, that's what we're gonna do.
Somebody gets
what do you,
your
come up with something else? Dog shit. That's why residents need to pick up their dog shit. If I stepped on it, you really understand. It's okay.
Did you get it against him?
No, I stepped in it, yep.
You always step on it.
Always.
Alright, I'm gonna try to send him.
Oh, I'm gonna be really mad.
Alright.
Always get it.
You guys got Garrus and somebody else at station
that's
2?
fine. Are you okay with that? What do you think?
Yeah, I'm absolutely good with
All right, so then tell them to come to the station.
I will.
And then, go from there.
Eventually, he was transported to the police station, where he had to undergo a breath test. Despite the detective's continued sense of entitlement, the officers maintained their respectful demeanor.
Calm down.
Calm.
All right.
You mean calm down?
We're gonna be calm, dude. Come on, don't go. Get no. Easy on me, please. All right. My name's Officer Truso. You can call me Vince, okay? I'm OIC tonight. All right? I'm gonna uncuff you. Joe, no problems, right? Oh. Man to man.
You fucking kidding me?
Listen to me, man, okay? Why don't you stand up and I'll uncuff you, okay? I know. I know.
You see.
We know that now. Listen, you weren't pull and drive. They'd have, listen, they'd have bust the windows out and everything.
They bust the windows out in the car?
Relax. Let me explain everything. Hold on. Chill. Okay? Alright, here's what's happening right now. You're being arrested for the OVI. You put my partners in a bad position. Okay?
Bro, I shouldn't be arrested for anything.
Listen. Well, you put them in a position. Then you start resisting.
I didn't resist anything.
Okay, listen.
I didn't resist
All right,
anything.
well, this is what we're doing. We're having some of your teammates are coming to pick the car up and everything. Joe.
Okay.
Listen,
Right.
with due respect, sir. Listen to me. I'm going to give you respect.
All right.
Listen to me.
Please do.
You're wasted. You sit down.
Listen.
Sit down. Sit down.
Listen.
Sit down, Joe.
Hey, how
Joe,
about
sit
that?
down. I know.
How about that?
Sit down. I understand that. Right. I can't drive around drunk and my weapon on me. We shouldn't be able to do that, sir. On top of it, you have all your turnout gear, your kit in the back.
Despite his resistance, he was getting special treatment from the officers because of his position.
But you put my teammates in a bad position. And I
How
get
do I
it.
put your guys in a bad position?
Joe,
Let
you
me
were
ask.
passed out on the side of the street, sir.
Okay.
You were passed out
So-
over there. Listen.
so-
Go ahead.
so-
Go ahead. You can talk.
No, go ahead.
You were passed out on the side of the street. My partner had to freaking knock on the window several times. You put it in park and went to drive away. And I know for a fact the way you're handling yourself right now, if this was EC and someone did that to you, you'd be doing the same fucking thing, sir.
You know what?
You know I'm right.
You know what? I'll
right?
tell you what. I'll tell you what.
You're starting to smirk because you know I'm right.
No, I'll tell you what. I probably would.
I know. I know.
I probably would. But I would not jam up one of your guys.
What am I supposed to do?
You're jamming me up.
I'm not jamming you up.
Yes, you
I'm
are.
processing you and having your teammates come and get you.
Jamming me up, bro.
I'm not.
Jamming
Calm
me
down.
up.
The detective was still being difficult, but the officers never gave him any problems. At this point, any other ordinary citizen would have been behind bars, or at least handcuffed.
I'll tell you what. One day.
Don't fucking threaten me, dude.
No, I'm not. I'm not threatening you.
I don't fucking want to do this,
Well,
man. But you,
I'm threatening. Now I'm
don't
threatening.
fucking listen.
Come on,
I don't
man.
want to fucking.
Hopefully
I don't.
there's cameras.
Yes, there is cameras.
Ah, thank goodness.
All right.
Thank
I
goodness.
don't want to do
I'm
this,
not
but
threatening
I
you.
don't want to do this.
I'm not threatening
okay?
you at all. Get the fuck out of here. Come on, man. Fuck out here. Be a fucking man.
Okay.
However, slowly, the detective started to feel better as the officer escorted him away from the interrogation room.
Yeah.
Oh, good. I want boss.
Fair enough, man.
I want Scott.
Is that done? You alright?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Alright.
For me.
I guess they said they were going to let you come with me. You want to come here?
I want Scott here. On my boss here.
Okay. Alright, yeah, Donald said just coming back to the station with us. Yeah, we can talk there.
Listen, I'm getting charged with DUI.
Okay.
I'm not all over that. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
I'm on my boss here.
Okay.
That's
I understand. They said they said you've been being cool with them. You know, they were just gonna let me take you in your car back to the barn.
Joe, I want my boss here.
Okay. Alright, let me call down and see if we can get him down here, okay?
No, not done that.
This detective was insane, but you'll be shocked to see how this sergeant was arrested by her juniors.
Come out the car.
Me?
Come out the car.
Go ahead.
Are you serious?
I'm good.
Are you serious?
I'm good.
Come to the back of the car.
As an officer approached the vehicle, he instructed the visibly flustered driver to step out. However, when the driver came out, the officer's expression quickly turned to disappointment.
Are you serious, Sarge? Really? You see how you're driving?
I have a friend with me.
Hey, Gomez, you on?
It turned out to be a colleague from work, Sergeant Andrea Smith. It was evident that she was intoxicated as she mumbled incoherently and even claimed to have a friend with her in the vehicle despite being alone.
Give me an O2, please. Stay in the back of the car, please. Hold on. Sarge, come out the car. Come out the car. Stay standing outside the car.
What did you say?
Stay right here. Sarge, stay right here.
The arresting officer returned to his cruiser momentarily. When he came back, he found that Sergeant Smith had gotten back into her vehicle. He then asked her to step out once more.
Smith. All right, gonna be performing some field sobriety testing today, okay?
Okay.
Are you willing to take this test?
Absolutely.
So, are you wearing any you wearing any contacts?
No.
No? Okay, so what about your shoes? Would you like to take your shoes off? No? Okay. So we're gonna come over here. Any injuries or anything like that? No? Alright, so first thing we're gonna do, I need you to Huh? Oh, hold on, I'll be back.
Another officer arrived on the scene and informed Sergeant Smith that she would need to perform a field sobriety test. She consented, but the officer could not proceed with the test because someone called for his attention.
Alright, Smith,
So that means you was starting sobriety test, you started sobriety test because the sergeant told you not to?
yes, they advised me that Miramar is coming to take over.
Okay.
I mean, it started and now...
So in the middle of the sobriety test, it told you no, right?
Yeah, he told me to stop. My sergeant told me to stop. So.
How come to hit the entrance?
I don't know. I don't know. He told me to stop, and I'm just advising you that Miramar is coming to take over.
Okay.
All right? All right.
It turned out that the officer's sergeant had instructed him not to conduct the test and to let Miramar take over instead. Sergeant Smith appeared dissatisfied with this decision.
I should have read this shit up.
My phone is
The special team eventually arrived on the scene, cuffing the intoxicated sergeant. During the questioning, she was barely able to form coherent sentences.
Is your badge in there? Where's your license on? Any female? Is it in your purse? No. Just put it in the car and the fucking. Somebody want to give your jewelry and stuff? License?
The sergeant just asked you.
Dio. I don't have. I got my license. I got my number for you. You need my number?
You have a police badge or police ID? Like your police badge?
My drawing card.
You want somebody?
Keisha.
As the officers continued to question her, Sergeant Smith became verbally combative and refused to cooperate. She even attempted to assert her authority by giving orders to the arresting officer.
Holloway. So she refused everything? Okay. I didn't ask her for the breath test. Okay, but she probably gonna refuse that as well. Yeah, she refused. Someone said over here that you were shaking. 316? Listen.
The team had yet to conduct the field sobriety test, but they anticipated that Sergeant Smith would likely be uncooperative.
Treat me like this, like an animal? My own people? I'm a suit I'm a expose all that.
The DUI officer was taken into custody, and while being transported to jail in a police cruiser, she was caught on camera threatening to sue the department and expose them. The sergeant faced 2 charges and was relieved of her duty. However, her lawyer argued that the actions taken against her were retaliatory, claiming she was being punished for being a whistleblower. The officers upheld the law, even though the perpetrator was a colleague and a superior at that.
So what's the unlawful act?
Right now, it came in as a suspicious person.
And what statute is suspicious?
It has nothing to do with it.
Yes, it does. What's the law?
To determine what's going on. So
I'm taking pictures in public.
Who you are. You're telling me you're doing something.
Okay.
That's fine, but I need to verify who you are.
No, you don't.
So in the event that something turns into something, I at least can say, all right, I went out and I spoke with this person. You're making this more difficult than it needs to be.
In January 2019, a Jersey cop attempted to violate a journalist's First Amendment rights. Little did the lawless cop know that this routine activity of his would lead to him getting an embarrassing schooling.
Working on a story for the township?
You're working on a story for the township?
Well, about the township for me.
For you?
Yes.
What are you making, a documentary?
It's a news story.
Story?
Yeah. The police officer stopped the civilian, who was recording a video of a public building, and began questioning him as if he were a suspect.
You have ID?
I always have ID.
Okay, can you provide that?
No.
You can do whatever you want, but
you
need to identify who you are.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
No, you don't.
I do, sir.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
And what law is that?
Well, it came in as a suspicious person. Anytime we investigate as to somebody calling it about suspicious, we need to at least identify who it is we spoke to. You're not in trouble in any way, shape, or form.
Okay, then I don't need to give ID.
Well, you do.
What law is that?
To know who you are.
Shortly after, the officer made his motive clear by demanding the man's identification and claiming to have received a call about a suspicious person in the neighborhood. However, the man refused to provide his ID and questioned the officer's justification.
What law is
I'm
that?
investigating a crime. It's actually called obstruction if you fail to provide
Wrong.
documentation. No, sir,
Quote that statute.
I already
Quote
told you
obstruction.
what it is.
Apparently you don't.
Sir, look, I'm not looking.
I have to commit an unlawful act and prevent you from performing your unlawful duty to be in violation of obstruction.
Noticing that the man remained unyielding, the officer warned that if the journalist continued to refuse cooperation, he could face charges of obstruction. But being fully aware of his rights, the civilian still did not budge.
Currently, right now,
So what's the unlawful act?
Right now, it came in as a suspicious
Okay,
person.
and what statute is suspicious?
Has nothing to do with it.
Yes,
I'm
it does. What's the law?
investigating to determine what's going on. So all
I'm
asking
taking
is
pictures in
identify
public.
Who you are. You're telling me you're doing something.
Okay.
That's fine, but I need to verify who you are.
No, you don't.
So in the event that something turns into something, I at least can say, all right, I went out and I spoke with this person. You're making this more difficult than it needs to be.
No, you are.
Not really.
You can come out and say, good morning, sir, how you doing? Taking pictures, enjoying your First Amendment right to take pictures in public?
What was the first thing that I said to you today?
What are you doing?
I said, no. I said, how are you, sir?
Okay, how are you?
Did I not say that to
Yeah,
you?
you did.
So you just asked me what did I do, and I already told you what I said.
Okay.
I said, how are you? And I said, what are we doing? And you told me what you're doing. I
And
said,
that's it.
fine. And I explained to you why I need documentation from you, just to verify who you are.
The man questioned the officer, hoping to understand what he had done wrong, but the officer was unable to provide a lawful justification for his actions.
Okay, but you don't need to verify who I am.
I unfortunately do.
No,
Yes.
I have the right to privacy in public.
You do, to a certain degree.
Yeah, and this is within that degree.
Yes.
Yes.
But again, if we're investigating it for suspicious because somebody called it in, it's not like we just...
It doesn't matter if somebody called it in.
Yes, it does.
Okay, so if you're outside on your property mowing your lawn and somebody says you're suspicious and the police come by, you have to give them your ID?
To verify that you live there, yeah.
No, you don't.
Yes,
It's
you
your
do.
property. Entitled to follow the law.
Which is this person.
Okay.
We just need to verify who you are and identify who you are.
And
That's all.
what statute is suspicious? What law am I breaking?
Sir, I'm not. I already went over this with you. I don't need to go.
And you
into
haven't justified yourself yet.
I do. And listen, again, if
Okay.
you fail
Well,
to
I-
provide your documentation, you can be placed under arrest for
You
obstruction.
think so?
Documentation, otherwise you are going to be placed under arrest for obstruction.
Despite the journalist's claim to be exercising his First Amendment rights and right to privacy, the officer insisted that he had been identified as a suspicious person and threatened to arrest him.
I do not have identification on me.
Well, so then you lied to me because when I first asked you if you had identification on you, you told me yes, I do.
Well, I have fingerprints and retinas.
No, that's incorrect. I asked you, do you have documentation? Do you have identification?
I do not.
You can go back into your video recorder and you can verify. You have ID?
I always have ID.
Okay, can you provide that?
No.
Okay, so who are you then? Because we're going to have to verify who you are.
I'm not gonna answer any
And
questions.
here's the other problem. Now you lied to me, so now I have a concern as to whether you're being truthful and honest with me. Do you understand?
Okay, well, you're not being truthful and honest with me because you haven't quoted a law yet that I'm required to show you
Sir,
ID.
I already explained to you what I need to
Supervisor.
do. If you fail to, there's actually a supervisor right there.
Okay.
Okay?
As the confrontation grew heated, the civilian contradicted himself by claiming he had no identification, which the officer immediately pointed out. At that point, the man called for a supervisor.
And I don't need to have a supervisor anyway because I asked you for who you are.
Well, I'm
You
asking
lied
for a
to me about who
supervisor.
you are, and I
I
told
did
you-
not lie about who I am.
explained to you what happens if you fail to provide documentation. Now, if I find out you're lying to me, now you could be charged with hindering.
Do we have a
which
sergeant?
is giving failed documentation.
No.
You have
What's
two
going on,
sergeants,
sir?
right?
Two? Okay.
What's going on? So, what is your name and what is your information?
I'm not answering any questions. Personal information.
Okay, well then you're going to be placed under arrest for obstruction.
And what
Okay,
law
like
is that,
sir?
Sergeant?
He doesn't need to explain it to you.
Well,
I
he
already
does
told you
actually.
that's what it is.
He actually does.
Just hold on a second.
So let's find out.
Can I just ask you what you're doing here?
Yes, sir. I'm in public taking pictures of a public building, expressing my First Amendment right to freedom of press. I'm here to actually file a complaint.
Okay. You have
against-
that right. You have all those rights. You just
Thank you. Well, he appears to tell me that I don't.
Believing he had sufficient cause for an arrest, the agitated officer was about to charge the man with hindering. However, the supervisor intervened, making inquiries about why the civilian was there.
Just so you know, there are areas of this building that are posted.
Absolutely.
Off limits.
Yep, like the back of that parking lot there. It says
you
restricted
obviously
area. Can't go back
have those
there.
areas or video those areas.
Absolutely.
Other than that, if you want to walk around with your camera, you can walk around with your camera.
And I don't need to show ID to do that.
You don't have to show ID right now. No, sir.
The supervisor confirmed that the man was within his rights and did not need to show identification as long as he stayed out of restricted or private areas.
All right, sir.
How's that?
Well, that's incorrect, actually, in that respect.
Oh, is it? Is it?
That's
So your
different than
sergeant's
what you
wrong.
explained to my
So your
source
sergeant's
and
wrong?
what we were going to.
So
No,
your sergeant's...
We're not going to get to an argument in
Sure.
here. So we're all set,
Because
all right?
I was just threatened with arrest for not providing identification. It's a violation of the Fourth Amendment.
All right, sir. But now we're clear on what's going on, right?
Is he?
Are we all clear?
Is he clear? Because I'm clear and you're clear.
Sure. Everybody here is clear, sir.
Very good, sir.
All right,
Thank
so
you.
Continue what you're doing.
I appreciate your
All
help.
right? You have a good day.
You too.
All right?
Thank you
We're
very
all
much.
clear, guys.
Thank you.
All right?
Have a nice day, officer.
You too, sir.
Hope you learned something today.
The grumpy officer appeared visibly embarrassed upon hearing his supervisor's verdict, and even argued that the supervisor was wrong. However, the supervisor promptly intervened and put an end to the argument.
And there they are, trying to figure out where I parked.
The civilian savored every moment, recording the officers, and at one point, he was even surrounded by 5 of them. To rub the shame in, he went back to the officers and asked the grumpy officer for his identification. The supervisor, well versed in the law, intervened to prevent a potential lawsuit at the scene. In the last case for today, it seems that these security men might have never heard that civilians also have rights.
It's all on camera. I can run it back. It's all on camera. You'll see it on YouTube later, I promise. I'm allowed to do what I do. Y'all have to understand that while in public, you can be filmed. There's no expectation of privacy at all, buddy. At all.
In January 2020, this civilian was filming outside the Odell Oil Company in Belton, South Carolina, when he noticed a sign on the company's fence.
So today we are in Belton, South Carolina at the Odell Oil Company. This is where we are here. Look at that. Photographing or otherwise recording this facility or its operations is prohibited.
Continuing his tour, he noticed a similar restriction on the net fence, but knew that he was within his rights, so he kept on filming anyway.
Look at that. You gotta love that. Let's go see this sign here. This sign here says the same thing. That sign says the exact same thing. Access to this facility is limited. Photographing or otherwise recording. That's an interesting statement. We'll see how that goes.
The man was still filming the property when 2 individuals came out of a building on the premises to confront him.
So they don't have anything about recording here on this fence here. It's a visitor parking, it's back down that way. But they don't say anything about recording this property. They got something about Homeland Security on there. So you would think that they would know. I would hope they would. But again, we are down here in Belton, South Carolina. Oh, we got some interested people coming out here now, y'all. Look at them. I can't hear you. The whole facility, well, both of them really. Get some information on them. I'm sorry, brother, I can't hear you. A whole lot of information, honestly. A whole lot of it. Visitor parking is back along the side here, or is it in the gate on the side? Say what? We can't just give out our information. Oh, no. I didn't have any questions about it towards y'all. I can kind of find out what I need out this way.
The 2 men, identifying themselves as operators, informed the man that he could not gather private details and threatened to call the police.
Who are you?
I'm an operator here.
Operator here, what's your name?
So that's irrelevant.
I understand that.
Yeah.
Can I have your name? Okay, I was just asking.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to. So.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Unfazed, the man encouraged them to proceed and call the cops. The men who say they are operators of the company refuse to tell the man their names when asked and proceed to call the police on him. But their threat didn't bother the man at all.
Yeah, inside the fence is. You said what I need pictures for? Well, I can't say it right now because it's not published. But you can call the people, that's fine.
One of the operators asked why the man needed pictures of private property, but the man refused to reveal his reason.
So he didn't want to give his name. But we're here, and they say it's private property, but that is a public utility right here and there. But they're going. So y'all stay tuned, please. So they decided to send somebody out here to talk to me, all right? It's actually about to start raining. I wonder if he's gonna get out the vehicle. Come on, don't waste the trip. If you gonna get out the car, come talk to me. You can come on. You can come in. These guys completely, it's finna start raining, which is the crazy part. So I'm actually going to get soaking wet. But I'm in Belton, South Carolina at the oil company on a road here, 33 feet from the center line of the road. I have their property line in my phone, and there are public utilities all right here. Some are in their property, some are right here, which is outside of the fence, and their trespassing signs are on the fence, which is beyond me, very beyond me. And he's just sitting here. If you turn it sideways, you get a better picture. If you turn your phone sideways, you get a better picture. Hey, buddy, if you turn it sideways, you get a better picture. Let's go talk to him. And then here comes his buddy down here in the truck. Yeah, that's his buddy right there. They're all curious.
The man is rather excited about them calling the cops and continues filming, telling them that he'd continue his tour until the officers came around. The man clarified on camera that he was on private property, but asserted his right to film due to the presence of public utilities in the area. Shortly after, they sent someone in a cart to monitor him.
Okay, but I'm trying to figure out why y'all are following me. It's like nobody here understands the rights that I have granted to me under the First Amendment. That's what's crazy. You know, this is all public property right here.
Yeah. No, this is a state property.
Which is public. State property is tax funded, which makes it public.
What are you trying to do?
So my tax dollars, your tax dollars pay for it.
Look, I mean, it's suspicious when they report it and call it in, so.
I mean, that's fine. And again, I told the people over here to call the police, that's fine. I don't mind talking to them. But you see that public utility right there? If I want to walk all the way to that pole and record this property, I can, because the city put that there. Okay. So that city property is public. I don't mean anybody no harm.
Someone finally came outside the fence to confront the man again. Arriving in a white Ford truck, the new man claimed that filming outside their property was suspicious and began taking pictures of him.
In the car? Huh?
Can I ask you what your intentions are?
My intentions is, I just want, again, I don't see these every day, so I stopped to take pictures of all these big oil wells here, because I don't see them every day. But it's like people are freaking out about it over a camera.
Well, it's kind of a touchy.
But y'all have cameras all over y'all facility.
No, we do.
So how is my camera any different than your camera? It isn't different, right? I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm just trying to spread education, that's all. If I can film, so can you film, and y'all cameras are rolling in there. There's no hurt, harm, or danger done here. None at all. I see all your prior notice about trespassing. I haven't breached not one of them signs. 33 feet from the center line of the road is public property. And I also have the GIS survey of y'all's property line. I don't plan on coming on y'all property at all.
Can I ask your name?
I'm not giving that out. If the police officer want to come talk to me, I'll give him my name, maybe.
Okay.
But if y'all are gonna call him again, I'm not gonna leave. I'll stand right here because I don't mind talking to him. Are they on the way?
Not.
Oh, well, again, I mean, if y'all want to call him, I'm totally okay with that, brother. I have no problem with that. I don't. I'd be more than glad to talk to him.
Okay.
Thank you for coming out. Yes, thank you. So this is the guy that we just talked to. And he is following me now. This is what he's doing. So we're going to get his license plate and publish that, since he wants to be a butthole. This is also him in his vehicle.
The man points out to the company employee that none of them understood the First Amendment rights of U.S. citizens and goes on to lay it out for him. While being filmed, the employee asks for the man's intention, and he tells him why he was there and how he did not understand why they were shaky. So the employee left, or so he thought, as he spotted the man following him.
Hey, did they call you out here? They did? Along this public easement here? And I was taking pictures this way, that way, and back here, and they freaked out. They completely freaked out about it. And they was like, well, I'm gonna call the police. I said, that's fine. I don't mind talking because there's no crime being committed here.
Finally, Officer Parker from the Anderson County Sheriff's Department arrived on the scene, and the man explained the earlier events to him.
Hey, come over here, buddy. Yeah, you. Come here, please. I just need you to inform him of the First Amendment that I'm allowed to record here in public, and I can be on my way. That's all I need from you, Officer Parker. Yeah. Can you please just inform him of my rights through the First Amendment, and I'm on my way. That's all I wanted. There's no hurt, harm, or danger done here. I was strictly filming. I'm sure y'all have been prompt on it because we sued Anderson a long time ago. I don't mean any hurt, harm, or danger by it, but these guys here completely freaked the hell out, and I don't know why. I just need him to be informed of my First Amendment right, and I can be on my way. I'm gonna come across the road because I got to get it on film that you told him for my protection. That's all. I told you I was coming back, buddy. I ain't want to be rude. I just want you to be informed and hear from someone else that I'm completely allowed to do what I'm doing.
So with him taking pictures, it's not a problem. Okay. If he goes on the property, kind of a different story.
We're just going to determine we don't know how I work anyway, so we're just making sure. Can you ask him a quick video of me?
I'm allowed to.
He then calls out to one of the men to come over and speak to the officer. Officer Parker explained to the employee that as long as the man filming was not on their property, he had the right to film and take pictures.
I'm about to tell you that so we can be cordial. The first time you saw me, and I was cordial. No, I told you that I'm allowed to do what I'm doing. It's all on camera. I can run it back. It's all on camera. You'll see it on YouTube later, I promise. I'm allowed to do what I do. That's all it is. And I wanted her to come tell you because I didn't want you to think I was being a jerk about it. It's completely legal. And y'all have to understand that while in public, you can be filmed. There's no expectation of privacy at all, buddy. At all. And she can attest to that. I tried to be cordial with you, but y'all wasted resources and called them out here for no reason at all. There's nothing you can do about it.
As long as he's not, were you going behind the gate or anything?
Well, you walked in our driveway.
No, I didn't. I stayed on the sidewalk, and you kept talking to me. I said I couldn't hear you, and I came closer to hear you. It was a consensual conversation at that point, so please don't try to say I came to your property.
You was on the edge of our driveway here.
Because I couldn't hear you, which was then a consensual conversation that you engaged in. I came closer to hear you.
An employee informed the officer that the man's actions seemed suspicious and made them uncomfortable. They also requested that the officer instruct the man to stop recording, but that didn't happen.
I can't.
What can we do?
Build a brick wall.
If he goes behind the gate, we can put him on trespass from there. But as far as him being out here taking pictures, video, and I can't really do it.
Can't do anything about it. I tried to tell you that, but y'all wasted resources.
Good afternoon.
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well, sir. How about you?
I'm all right, thank you. I'm David, by the way.
Hey, David.
Thank you.
Thanks, Al.
It is. That's why I'm out here, actually. I'm about to go jump on my bike. I just tried to help these two gentlemen out here, and they didn't want to understand me, so they called this sweet officer out here and wasted resources when they could have asked me the same question, and I gave them the same answer, but they didn't want to listen to me. So now they're on the internet looking like fools because I tried to tell them. And those weren't my intentions. I tried to walk away, but then I saw her pulling up, and I figured that they called and wasted her sweet time out here.
The officer emphasized that the man recording had not violated any laws and there was no legal basis for intervention. Another employee emerged, and the cameraman, David, jokingly explained the situation to him as well.
I'm sorry you had to come out here, Officer Parker.
You're fine. Just do me a favor, don't go behind the
Oh, I won't. And I told them I have their property line on my phone. I checked the GIS survey. As long as I'm well within public property, it's a public utility pole. There no trespassing prior notice starts on the other side of that fence. I have no plans of breaching their property at all. None.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for coming out, all right? It was a pleasure having you here. Fellas, I'm sorry about the misunderstanding, but at least now you understand, all right? Thank y'all.
And finally, watch as another cop's career took a nosedive when his superiors caught wind of his corrupt activities.
On November 24th, 2022, an individual was smoking a cigarette at a gas station when he noticed cops surrounding him. As he drove away from the gas station, the cops put their lights on to pull him over. He chose to continue driving to reach a well-lit area for his safety. However, the officers disapproved of this and aggressively confronted him.
Turn the car off. Turn it off. Turn it off. Put your hands out the window. Put your hands out the window. Don't move.
I ain't moving. What's up?
Can you unlock it?
Huh? Reach right there. Man, just
Don't
reach
worry
right
about
there.
it. You keep your freaking hands out the window and shut your mouth.
The man was later identified as Braxton Smith, a U.S. Navy veteran who had served multiple deployments. He had his hands out of the car and never resisted the cops. Despite his calm demeanor, the officers kept going hard at him.
I'll figure it out. Yeah. He's riding. What's up, officer? What's going on? What's up? How's it going? What is going on? Come on, you gonna buckle me? I'm chilling. What's up? I'm chilling. What's up? I'm chilling, officer. I'm cool. I'm doing that. I'm doing that. Look at me. I'm doing that. What's up? Come on, man. You resisting. Y'all wildin'. Come on, y'all wildin'. I ain't doing shit now. Come on. Okay. What I did? Act like you didn't want to stop. Hey. What you mean? I got put up in the same spot. Okay.
The veteran had committed no crime, but still, the cops pulled him over and detained him. It's safe to say that this was a case of racial profiling, as the cops went on to suspect him for narcotics.
How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Oh.
You have a medical marijuana card, sir?
No.
No. Smoking?
No, 240. You want a voicemail text too. I'll put it in the
No.
How's it going? How's it going, Joey?
You smoking?
Put your foot on the ground. You smoke hemp or not?
What you mean? What's that?
All right, sounds good.
What's up with this?
Let's eat.
The officer continued searching him while he sat anxiously, still awaiting an explanation for his arrest.
Have an alarm or something on you?
Huh?
You have an alarm or something on you?
Nah.
Charlie 362. 1097 on the floor, Charlie 1. I got everything out of his pockets. All right, give me your shoe.
Oh, someone law-abiding citizen.
Well, right now, you might be going to jail.
For what?
I'll talk to you about that in a second.
Okay.
All right. You're not under arrest.
Okay.
But I have to read your rights so that I can let you talk to me and ask you questions.
Okay.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in court. You have the right to talk to an attorney.
After treating him like a criminal, the officer finally asked him why he had chosen to pull over at a safer distance.
What makes this spot safer for you than where I tried to stop you?
I mean, y'all hit the lights on. I ain't want to pull in the middle of the road. That's dangerous for y'all. I didn't want to pull in a well-lit area. You get y'all out of traffic.
Okay.
I ain't stupid.
So do you think that making a safe spot for us is something that you're authorized to do?
I mean, I ain't think it require authorization. I'm trying to be safe just like y'all. I ain't posing a threat. I seen y'all circling
Wait,
at
so
the
are you
store.
trying to be safe? You're trying to find a safe spot for you or for me?
For both of us.
No, you don't get to do that.
Okay, that's understandable.
You can make a claim that you're trying to make a safe spot for you. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
All right, why is this spot safer than that spot?
It's a well-lit area. I mean, it's not in the middle of the road.
Do you see all those street lights down there?
I understand what you're saying,
So
but
why is this spot more well lit than down there?
I mean, what was so detrimental between me stopping right there and stopping right here?
Well, actually, I'd like to ask you that. Why did you keep driving?
I just told you that. I just told you that. Why would
There's
I
a
want
lot
to
of
stop
moving around in that car.
You just looked in it.
There's a lot of moving around whenever I have my lights on.
I rolled the windows down, put my driver's license, my registration out the window. That's the shit y'all supposed to ask when y'all first pull somebody over, right? Y'all ain't do none of that.
Smith was right. After seeing what has happened to black people over time, he knew he would be much safer in an area with lights and cameras around. The officer, however, refused to understand this and kept being disrespectful.
I'm not supposed to stop a law-abiding citizen.
Shut your mouth. Don't get all loud with me. They ain't gonna change nothing.
Hey,
here.
I'm just talking. I'm having a conversation with you, right?
No, you're trying to talk over me and you're trying to set up a defense for yourself. Because what you did is called fail to obey. It's a fleeing charge and it's a felony 3.
Okay.
If you'd like to go to jail on a felony charge, I'm good with it.
I would not.
All right. Well, then quit trying to talk your way out of this and just talk to me and actually tell the truth. Because I'm not stupid, okay? I know you're trying to play me.
Okay.
So why didn't you stop? I just told you why I didn't
Because you
stop.
think
I had
that
no
you
other
think you're
reason.
smarter than everyone
Look what you
else.
just did to me. You just snatched me out my car. I rode the one that's
Why?
down and gave my license, my registration. You ain't read me no right. You snatched me out the car.
You're damn right I did. Why did I do that? Why?
I don't know. I
How
had
about
the
because?
slightest idea.
How about because?
Run my name.
For
Run
300
my name.
yards, I had my lights. Did you? How many different sirens did I turn on?
Listen, I'm a black man in
I'm
America.
asking you a question.
I'm terrified of the police.
Mr. Blackman, I'm asking you a question. How many different sirens did I turn on? And how many times did I lay on my horn?
I have this like when you said pull over, I pulled over. You said throw the keys out of the car, I complied.
No, when I said pull over was back there when I turned my lights and sirens on. Get in the car.
Despite everything, the officer still failed to explain why he had initially pulled him over. After all, it was an illegal traffic stop, and multiple officers were now unlawfully searching his car in hopes of finding something illegal.
Damn, you know the more
Get in the car. Shut your mouth.
77 foot car.
Yeah, I think he was trying to figure out if he should say yes or no to that question. I thought he had like a clip right here on his belt line, for like looking like an inside the waistband holster. And I thought maybe that's what he was. It was that. That's
Seatbelt down, buddy.
he could have easily have reached over, pulled the seat down, and put it where it is.
Look at this bullshit. I'm not getting high-speed gear again.
I don't really want to touch on my hands. I don't know if it feels warm to the touch,
The cops couldn't find anything illegal inside the car apart from a gun which was registered to the veteran. Despite this, the officer still felt compelled to inquire about it, further highlighting his racist motives.
Where'd you buy the
Pawn shop on Atlantic Boulevard.
store?
Yeah, pawn shop.
You did the paperwork?
Yeah, it might be in the car.
Okay.
It
Well,
might
when'd
be
you
in
get
the
it?
car. It's been within a year.
Okay. So you did all the paperwork, the background check and everything?
Yeah.
So why would they, how come you can buy a gun but you can't have a CWL?
Hey, so what's the process of buying a gun, right? You go through the background. I've bought guns my whole life, bro. I'm a veteran. I'm served 10 years in the
So
military.
then why wouldn't you be able to get CWL is what I'm trying to get to.
But why is that an issue about within my legal limit? That's what I understand.
Because I'm wondering if you're a prohibited possessor or just prohibited from purchasing or from what?
If I was prohibited from
I
purchasing,
know.
I would not be able to
You don't need to know what it
purchase a gun.
means. I know what it means.
Right or wrong, right? If
I know what it means. You don't need to know what it means. I'm just trying to ask questions to determine which category you fall into.
Why, if I'm within my legal limit, why does any of that matter?
What does legal limit mean?
If I can purchase a firearm, I can ride with it in my vehicle, right? If it's in the
I don't
trunk, and it's
know.
in
That's why I'm
the
asking.
holster. That's the law I studied, the Florida gun law. That's the law I abide by.
Great. Do you
That's
mind
all.
if I ask questions to verify that?
Of course.
Okay,
but
cool.
I mean,
So you did the background check,
yes.
right? And you purchased it, but when you did a background check for the CWL, they said no.
Well, I don't understand where these questions going. Like, it's
all right.
Realizing that the baseless investigation yielded nothing, the officer returned to his car. Ultimately, he opted to issue a ticket as he kept trying to justify his earlier action.
Know what you just pulled out from under the seat or something. I got you, but I definitely don't play like that. You know what I mean? So that's why I had you keep your hands out the car. I don't want you taking. It takes half a second for you to grab a gun and shoot. It takes me, on a good day, 1.8 seconds to grab my gun and shoot. So that means I can get shot about 3 or 4 times before I even get my gun out of the holster. Right? So these are the kind of odds that I got to deal with, man. And that's why what you think is aggressive, all right, we didn't hit you, we didn't bam you, all right, we let you go to the ground on your own, all right? But it is what it is, man. Like, if you were intending to do me harm, I can't give you that option, okay? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you one fix-it ticket. You got 2 windows that are too dark. Your front windows are 20%. All your windows are 20%. That makes the front windows too dark. And you got a windshield that's tinted, okay?
Samsung?
Yeah. All right.
Well, all of this could have been avoided if the officers hadn't pulled him over for suspicion of narcotics. The racist officer had no option but to let him go. And to make matters worse for him, he also found out that his ticketing system was done.
Face that way so I can take these off. So my traffic program is messed up, so I can't write a ticket right now. And we have gunshots down the road that I'm gonna go respond to. So those 2 reasons are getting you out of the ticket tonight, okay? Your front windows are too dark though in your windshield, just so you know. Huh? Where you left it.
In the end, veteran Braxton Smith was left to go without any charge or a ticket. However, that wasn't the end of the proceedings, as he filed a formal complaint against the officers involved in the act. This officer crossed the line, but the actions of this next cop will leave you shocked.
There's no damage between our vehicles, though.
I don't give a bro, you
Yeah.
In May 2019, Officer Ryan Wingo was traveling down the road when he suddenly made a complete U-turn after he saw another car violating a law. That's when disabled veteran Charles Donner, traveling with his wife, honked at him. Officer Wingo got agitated by this and went over to ram his cruiser right into the veteran's car. This wasn't all, as he asked them to pull over into the open field as things were about to get even worse.
Pull into the parking lot. Pull into the parking lot. 60 Hot Springs. Go and send one of the normal units over here to the shoe factory. I had a car slam on the brakes in front of me.
The veteran was getting increasingly furious as his car had been rammed into, and now he was being pulled over without any reason. However, he had no idea that the worst was yet to happen.
2429. License, registration, insurance, sir.
Yeah, sure. No, you hit me right off there. And why are you pulling me over?
Because you're following me too closely and nearly ran into me.
No, I did not. You slammed on your brakes. You had no brake. You had no turn signal or nothing.
I had to turn around on the car without speeding. I'm doing my job out here, sir. Give me your license.
You hit me. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'll see you in court, dude. Take it on. Look at my car.
Hey, take a seat in the car for right now. We're on a traffic stop right now.
Hey,
okay?
You hit my car.
Officer Wingo was having a hard time controlling his anger as he went on to do something terrible.
We're on a traffic stop right now.
Out here.
I want to see the damage done to my car.
Give me a minute. We're on a traffic stop right now. Once I get done with my traffic stop, we're following too closely.
I was not following too close. Clearly you were. You hit me.
You stopped in the middle of a roadway, sir.
No,
I didn't stop. I got over and I was in the lane.
You
trying
stopped
to
in the
speed
lane.
back up. No, I was trying to speed back up.
Okay,
and you
sir.
slammed on your gas.
Okay.
And you hit us.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Well, I told you why I stopped you because you were following me too closely.
But I wasn't. But
okay.
We'll see in court.
Okay. Do you have an ID on you, ma'am?
I sure do.
You don't need your ID.
Yes, I do actually for the accident report that you so want, sir.
Yes.
I do want it.
Okay.
You f***ing hit me.
There's no damage between our vehicles, though.
I don't give a f***, bro. You f***ing hit me.
Under arrest for disorderly conduct, sir.
Ooh.
Come on. Take a seat until you can calm down.
Okay.
The officer was on a damaging power trip as he kept falsely accusing the veteran of following him too closely. After arresting Charles, he went over to confront his wife, Brittany, who was crying hysterically after seeing her husband being treated so brutally.
Why are you doing this?
Ma'am, there was no need for cussing me out. Until he can calm down and act like an adult, he's going to sit in the back of the car.
Let me explain to you. My husband has severe PTSD. Severe. He's a 100% disabled veteran. And he is fucking, and that's why I'm here.
You gonna talk to me? You gonna let me talk, or you just gonna interrupt me the entire time, ma'am?
I'm sorry.
Okay. Until he can calm down and act like a human being and stop cussing me out for no reason. So I'm trying to explain to him what happened. But he doesn't want to let me talk, okay? So do you want to let me talk or not?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay. Now. You gonna calm down or you gonna continue cussing me out?
I just want your badge and number and your name.
I'm asking you a simple question. So you're gonna calm down?
I just want your badge and number and your name. That's all I want.
Okay, well, I'm trying to ask you.
And I said, sure, officer.
Okay, well, you can continue cussing me out or not? Because that was that, and you're going to say sure, then I'm not going to have you sit out here and cuss me for no reason. There's no fit to, you're not incriminating yourself, sir.
Officer Wingo tried talking to Charles, but he ignored him and simply pleaded the fifth. The tyrant cop had no choice but to go back to Brittany and try to validate his case.
I'm just trying to ask you.
And I already said sure. I just want your badge number. I just want your badge number and your name.
Okay.
That's all I want.
Okay.
This is gonna end horribly.
I just want him, I'm trying to get him to calm down. But he doesn't want to, he wants to continue yelling at me for no reason, okay?
Chevy West, down the bank, go ahead.
He said he has severe PTSD.
I don't know if he has malicious intent. He's over here yelling and cussing me. Now I'm just trying to get his information, and he wants to start yelling, stop in the middle of the road for no reason.
I understand, but he was freaking out because you hit our car. That's why he was upset, was because you hit us.
Moments later, another trooper appeared on the scene, and Officer Wingo had the audacity to blatantly lie about the entire encounter. You'll be shocked to see the true face of this corrupt police officer.
The driver in the backseat, he started cussing me out, and I'm trying to have him calm down the backseat.
Okay, but everything's good to go?
Yeah. He just wants to yell and cuss me for no reason, so I got him out and put him in the backseat of the car.
You're good?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was coming this way. I saw him riding my butt. I didn't really care. Car tops hill going 60. I'm on overtime. Just turned around. Right. When I went to turn around, he slammed. Yeah. I had to turn around. I don't slam my brakes or anything. I hit my brakes, turn around. I knew he was riding my butt. So just turned around. Yeah. Turned around, and when I turned around, he starts laying on his horn. So I was like, okay. So you want to lay on your horn, I'll just pull you over for the closer. So when I turned back around to come behind him, he moves straight over from the inside lane to the outside lane, moves straight over and just slams on the brakes. And I'm just trying to get behind him, and he slams on his brake. And I didn't even have my lights on at that point, but he just stops in the middle of the road.
Wingo probably forgot that the entire incident had been captured on a dash cam earlier, and his lies could not be considered the truth. Eventually, the officer let Charles go without charging him with disorderly conduct.
Look, Dave, you see these cars, you see the lights, you see the marking? That's our U-turns are legal when we're going out, but they're violating. It doesn't make any difference. Okay. And what you did, slamming on your brakes. I didn't slam on my brakes. That's his word. That's not mine or my wife's word. That's fine. I didn't slam on my brakes, so.
I mean, it's supposed to be pre-recorded for the 1 minute.
It don't matter. It don't have to stand.
Yeah.
Are you one of these type people that you're going to provoke the police? No, I'm not trying to. It sounds like it, no.
Officer Wingo, however, gave the veteran a citation for following too closely and parking on a highway. The couple decided not to fight the charges, as they paid the fine of $300. However, the couple later considered taking legal action against Officer Wingo and the city. They started a GoFundMe campaign and raised more than $20,000, which helped them file a lawsuit. The case is ongoing, and we hope the veteran gets the justice he deserves.
Cases serve as a powerful reminder that even those who misuse their power will eventually be held accountable by those who uphold the law. If these stories of justice resonated with you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more content that exposes corruption and upholds integrity. And don't forget to check out this next video right here where a corrupt officer got instant karma.